Thank you so much for joining me on this video, how to fix Clemson football. I appreciate you joining me. A lot of these ideas and approaches is going to be like, duh. But remember, Clemson had some duh things happen the other night. So before I dive into that, welcome to the Not Bobby Durkins channel. I'm not Bobby Durkins. I'm Brian. Well, at least for right here. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I will let you know that so many people showed up on the channel over the past few days just because of the loss. It's almost like, do I want Clemson to lose more? So they'll show up on the channel and subscribe. But I do appreciate everybody showing up. If you're on an iPhone, you will not see this, but there is a join button below the video. So if you want to join for like $3 or $5 per month and support the channel, you won't even notice the money coming out. I do appreciate it. Also, a super thanks if you appreciate what I'm doing. Before I dive into this, and I know somebody's going to be like, get to the point, I have to make this preface. I need to make this preface. I must make this preface. I am a nobody. I am a guy in his bonus room who has pulled for this team right here for many years. And even to this day, the vast majority of that time, and I mean major majority of that time, has been spent pulling for Clemson football and then blowing it. The Tommy West years, the Tommy Bowden years. I remember the Ken Hatfield years. I was just getting into football then. I was young. And obviously this run that Dabo Swinney has had. Dabo Swinney has done more for Clemson football than anybody, period. Period. He has done so many great things. And I do appreciate them. But this team has seemed to have got away from him. It seems as though that some things have slipped by him. And I try to give grace to people because I can't imagine what it's like to have everything going good for you, have Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, and you don't realize that your offensive coordinator has become complacent. And I'm talking about Tony Elliott. I've kind of teetered back and forth. Was he not that good? Was he good? And he just became complacent. Listen, he's had more success than all of us. He's made a lot of money. He's a head coach at Virginia. Okay? I'm not going to take that away from him. But what I will say, something happened. And then we had the hiring of Brandon Streeter, his protege. And so we need to start off by understanding that, yes, Swinney has done great. And Swinney, he made the move to get Riley in here. But the first key is he has to take back over his team with the same intensity that he had when he was standing in front of that microphone and he infamously answered no when he was asked, basically, do you think that you're not ready for this job? Or however the question was posed to him in that infamous clip where he goes, no. He has to get back into that mindset, not only in attitude, but most of all in action. Whenever you have a goal, no matter whether it's a personal goal, it's with a team, it's with an organization, it's whatever, you look at the goal. Here's the goal. Now, let's focus on the process to getting to the goal. Folks, I believe that what we're seeing right now is Clemson paying for the sins of the past. Cade looking like he's not up for it. I know someone in the comments section said that I've made too many excuses for him. I'm not making excuses for him. I have laid out over and over and over that Cade Klubnik is the only quarterback going all the way back to the Kyle Parker, Taj Boyd era that he was not worked into the system. They did not get him ready like they got every quarterback from that point all the way up to this one. Go check it out. I am right. I've done my homework. He didn't have to start, but they worked in every quarterback into that point. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, we can't fix that. I'm 5 minutes in. I'm going to get to the point. But I have to stab this and beat this into the ground that there's some things we can't fix right now. Cade Klubnik getting the experience that he has or needed to have, we can't get that back. We can't fix that. I'm sorry. But the first key is Dabo has got to get back to the attitude. Whether he still has the attitude or not, I could care less about that. He needs to get back to the actions that got us to a championship level that, yes, we do expect to get back to the playoff. Do you realize that this is going to be the third? If nothing changes, this is going to be the third season in a row that we have not sniffed a playoff. We have wasted the eligibility of Will Shipley. We've wasted the eligibility of Brian Bresee, Miles Murphy. Ngata just up and left. We have players that we're recruiting, 4- and 5-star players who are not coming to fruition. But once Swinney gets back to that inaction, by the way, if every day you have an attitude, you're like, you know what? I hate lifting weights. I'm not happy to do it. I'm going to piss and moan the entire time I lift weights. But if you lift weights every day and take the proper rest when you need to, and you eat just decent, whether you like it or not, you're going to see great results. Well, I never really liked it. Who cares? You did the action and you got the results. Also know people who's always running around with these inspirational comments and quotes, and man, they got on a coffee mug and they've got a vision board in front of them. They don't have the actions to back up their goals. And that's what we've missed. Swinney has got to have the actions that meets the goals, or that sets up success for us, or sets us up to reach the success for goals of those goals. I've said that terribly. Somebody please make fun of me. There is a lack of intensity on that sideline. There is a lack of intensity with the team. When Clemson came out during the run they had with Watson and Lawrence, and even when Kelly Bryant was there, man, they had an intensity. That is gone. And that starts with the head. You have to have that intensity. And you have to have the processes in place that supports your goal. He said before the game, hey, we have this metric system. We've had it around for a while. This is the most disciplined team I've ever had. Listen to me, folks. They need to recalibrate that system, because I have never seen a team like them turn over the ball inside the 5 twice in one game. When you looked at the field goal that got blocked, you can't tell me there's not one person on that sideline who didn't see that guy who was lined up far to the left. He was coming. So my first key is Swinney's got to get back to the actions that drives that team to success. My second key for the team to fix Clemson, you've got to go back to Pop Warner recreation football. And I say Pop Warner, I don't believe that Pop Warner is here in the upstate of South Carolina. I think that's somewhere else, but it's just very easy to say recreation football. Take care of the football. Take care of the football. Take care of the football. Know where the down marker is at. When Cade slid early and then turned around on a play that wasn't even 4th down and he did sacrifice his body, that goes back to not preparing him last year, folks. Folks, the fundamentals of football was not honored this week. We rushed for 200 yards. We passed for 200 yards. We owned the clock by 10 or 11 minutes more than Duke. We had way more first downs than they had. We were barely penalized in the game. There was a lot of good things that did happen. And I want to barf to say that, because we lost 28 to 7. But when you're fixing a problem, you do have to look at everything. You can't paint with such a broad brush and go, oh, everything sucked and it was awful and it was terrible. No, not everything was awful and terrible. What was interesting, though, Clemson does not have the finish it spirit. Let's finish this. We started it. Let's finish. We drove the ball down their throat. Let's get in the end zone. Now, I've had a lot of people text me and call me. In fact, I just had a text just a second ago from someone I'm pretty sure is watching. And by the way, if you're new here, you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The channel's growing like crazy, and I appreciate it. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. My analytics still tells me that out of 10,000 people watching, probably only 1,500 is subscribed. So please subscribe. It's free. Hit the thumbs up. It's free. And hit the bell. It notifies you. If you want to join, it's like $3 a month or $5 per month. You choose which tier. If you have an iPhone, you won't see the join button. So hopefully you'll join later on some other device if you're on an iPhone. Also, super thanks here in the comment section. Clemson has to have that intensity. They have to finish what they started, and that starts with good fundamentals. Take care of the football. Cade, know where the sticks is at, pal. You can't start the slide early. I saw a pass to Antonio Williams, who I've been a big fan of. It was like on third down later in the game. The defender went head-to-head with him. It looked like Antonio didn't even fight for the ball, which is very, very uncommon for him. He normally does that. What happened? What happened? When the ball got fumbled by Clemson late in the fourth quarter, did you see Antonio Adam Randall, my guy. I'm so fired up I can't think straight. Adam Randall, it's like he started to recover it, and then he started falling down like a child who doesn't care about the game, knows the game is over. I'm not knocking you, pal, but that's what it looked like. It's like, it's going out of bounds. Who cares? That's what I saw. The ball goes loose, you fight for it. You know where the sticks is at. You don't start your slide early. And my Lord, for anything that is sacred, you got to take care of the football. Clemson's been running this offense for years. Or this style of offense for years. New offensive coordinator. But that whole RPO, pull, handoff, blah, 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 they've been doing that for a long time. And I'm telling you, folks, Cade was not prepared by the team last year. And for some of you, I'm looking in the comment section. I'm going to go right back over it. One more time for you. Some of you are checking out. Please don't check out. Just stick with me. Taj sat behind Kyle Parker, and they would work him in on packages. Deshaun sat behind Cole Stout. They worked him in on packages. He ended up taking over. Kelly Bryant sat behind Deshaun, but they still worked him in on packages. Remember the 59-0 win over Miami and Coral Gables? Got Al Golden fired? Yeah. Trevor got worked in behind Kelly Bryant. We all know that story. DJ sat behind Trevor Lawrence, but they worked him in. Cade sat behind DJ, and the only time they brought him in was to make sure we didn't lose to Syracuse. A few drives here, threw him in the bottomless pit of hell against Notre Dame, only to try to make him fix something. Folks, do you not see that? Are you blind? Are you that flippin' blind? If you're going to fix a problem, at least do it right. It's like these politicians will come along. I want change. Okay, pal, that's good. Maybe I want change too. Could you tell me how you're going to do that? Well, it's like saying, I'm going to change my hairstyle. Oh, really? So what are you going to do with it? Oh, I'm just going to blow dry it with a blowtorch. That is stupid. You have to do it the right way. Next up, next key to fix it. Clemson does need to go downfield. Clemson needs to go downfield. And folks, I'm just going to tell you straight up. If I'm a defensive coordinator and they're not taking a shot downfield here and there to keep me honest, I'm going to walk my safeties up. I am going to crowd the line. I am going to show that team, especially if I think they're going to run it. I might even go 5 down linemen, go to a 5-2 formation and tell them, hey, I know you're going to run it. And yeah. What happens if you hit a home run down the field? What happens if you stretch the defense? The defense sucks in and then you hit a home run over the top. That would be great. They need to. That's one way to fix Clemson too. Clemson was not explosive the other night. We saw more power during the running game, but Garrett Riley said in his first interview with the public, what did he say? He said, I want us to be explosive and powerful. And I praised him for that. I said, this has to be done. The other night, I did see power. I know everybody sees the score 28-7, and that's what you should look at. You should look at that. But you should look that we rushed for 200 yards, passed for 200 yards, and what did we do? We wet the bed, got inside the 5 twice, and fumbled the football. We shanked a 25-yard field goal, a 30-yard field goal, if that. There's 17 points. And that would have had an effect on the defense to possibly have a little more zeal and a little more fight about them. Probably had PTSD from last year. But you have to take shots down the field. I don't know what has happened with Clemson that they will not throw the ball up to Bo Collins and let him try to go up and get it. He's tall, for flipping sake. I've had some people come in here and go, well, they need to go to the transfer portal and they need to go get. Yes, I would like to see them use the transfer portal more. Or just at all, and not bring in some grad student who's going to sit on the bench. Okay? I don't care about that. But I'm going to go ahead and counter you with this logic. If Clemson went and got Keon Coleman, but they called the same plays, his talent would be wasted. Why would he want to come to Clemson? So he can catch a wide receiver screen? You use a guy like him, you throw the ball up to him and you say, go get it. If you're as good as you say you are, go get it. Go make the highlight reel, pal. It will all benefit from this. So while I agree with you to a point that we've got to use, that it would be nice to use the transfer portal, the only reason that Colorado looks any different is because of the transfer portal. The only reason that Lincoln Riley turned around USC as fast as he did, the transfer portal. Alabama uses it. Ohio State uses it. Georgia uses it. Michigan uses it. Basically, everybody uses it. But I hate to tell you, folks, that unless the offensive play call is going to be more explosive, taking shots down the field, giving the playmakers the chance to make the play downfield, you can go to transfer portal all you want to, and there's not going to be there's going to be nothing but frustration, and those guys that transferred in are going to transfer out again. Because the wide receiver screen to get the ball out in space, one of the first reasons why you would create that play is because you can't get the ball downfield. That's one of the reasons the wide receiver screen or the quick pass out to the right was implemented, is because a defense was so stout in their secondary down the field, or the rush was so good that the quarterback didn't have time to throw the ball downfield. What would they do? Get the ball to the playmaker out there in the flats really, really quick, and maybe you can do something. There's a reason. I didn't coach, remember, I didn't coach. I admitted that at the beginning. I'm nobody. But you call a screen pass to take advantage, a screen. You remember the old halfback screen? When a defense was too aggressive and you made them pay for it, you allowed them to come past the offensive lineman, and then you dip the ball out, and all of a sudden, everybody who was big up front is now staring at the quarterback going, oh, no, where's the football? And you've got the big hog mollies out front in front of a running back blocking much smaller DBs, and you've given your running back a chance. That's the whole general idea. Clemson is not taking shots down the field. They have fell into this gimmick mode versus looking at it logically and saying, hey, we're going to throw the ball downfield, whether it's Riley, whether it's Streeter, whether it's Elliott. And think about this. DJ threw the ball majorly down the field against Notre Dame in that 2020 game. Cornell Powell had like 217 yards. Man, he had a massive reception in the secondary. We're not seeing that. That's my third key. You've got to become explosive. You can go to the transfer portal as much as you want to, but if you're not going to be explosive and try to exploit the defense down the field, you're just going to have a bunch of tall wide receivers standing around going, what? What? I'm here to what? To block on a wide receiver screen? Hey, Hoss, how about you throw the ball up to me? I'll go get it. No, we're not seeing that. Well, we don't have the wide receivers to do it, so you got to go get them. I don't believe that. Bo Collins is a good football player, and we should use him, and we're underutilizing him. Now, I can go ahead and promise you that. If you're brand new here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Turn on the notifications. It's that little bell in the corner. It lets you know when I come online, when I show up. If you want to support the channel, you can support it through joining the channel, which is really, really cheap. Or you can support it through Super Thanks. I do appreciate everyone who has supported and joined. Got Mike 3883 in here. Mr. 2X is in here. Joey Cogdale, the Bandit. Ted Jackson, my old buddy Parker Henderson's in here. Timmy Blackwell, the real McCoy. JR, the gent. It's good to see you, my friend. Let me see. Anybody else that I've missed? Tiger 2 Deep, it's good to see you. Tiger 2 Deep says it's hard to go downfield when the defense is playing you over the top like Duke was. I do agree with that to a point, but run a streak over the top, run a streak down each side and have a guy coming in the post. Make them make a choice. I mean, if we're going to turn the ball over, at least do it that way and not within the 5-yard line. Crash Gang's in here. It's good to see you. Anthony Jones, Noah Hoskins. Got Jonathan Benton in here. It's good to see everybody in here. Jared Smith, J. Coop. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to close this down. I shouldn't have even done a video today because I have too much to do. And y'all, I talked about this so much yesterday between phone calls and the video. I had to stop talking. My wife was thanking God, like, finally, you shutting up. Because my throat was swelling. I talked so much. Roberta Ringstaff, thank you. Says she loves the show. Thank you so much. And my last key to the game, or my last key to fixing Clemson. Notice I really didn't say anything about the defense. Yes, they gave up 28 points. They were tired. And I know you're like, well, Brian, the rebuttal to that is, well, you had the ball longer. They were mentally tired. When you look up and you see your team getting down inside of the 5, getting down inside the 25, and they're blowing it, and they're blowing it, and they're blowing it, and it's reminiscent of last year, it does something to you mentally. Yes, we can talk about how you should overcome it. Yes, we can talk about all of that bunch of coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but I am telling you, it does something to you. There's some of you that's sitting on here right now. I'm going to catch some crap for this, but I'm saddled up for this one. There's some of you who was criticizing them on coulda, shoulda, wouldas and how they should play better, and you can't even stay on a diet for 5 minutes if a pound cake comes past you. So I don't want to hear it from you. That is absolutely ridiculous. And yes, do I wish they were stronger? Yeah, but I think that they're tired of it. The team has got to pull it together. And the Clemson culture that we used to have is not there, my friends. The culture that we used to have, that we've been just sacrificing anything to keep guys in the system, to hire coaches who probably was not the right hire, but we kept them in because they knew the Clemson culture. I can tell you what some of this not going to the transfer portal is all about. It's about that culture. We got to protect the culture. Well, you know, coming out of high school, they didn't want to be part of this culture. Why do we want them to come join the culture now? That's some of it. You know it is. You get what I'm saying? Do you smell what the rock's cooking, and do you like it? Even if you don't like it, that's what it is. Clemson football is looking at these guys who didn't choose them coming out of high school. Who some of them said, yeah, I'd rather go to Alabama. Yeah, I'd rather go to Ohio State. Yeah, I'd rather go to Georgia. I would rather go to one of these schools. And Clemson's looking at them going, well, you turned me down once. It's like if you asked out a girl, she turns you down, and then she goes and dates somebody else, she breaks up with him. She's like, hey, you know what? I was an idiot. I should have dated. Well, my pride and arrogance is going to get in the way of me possibly hanging out with you. You just admitted that you were wrong and you're coming to me. But you know what? You know what? My pride and my arrogance says no to you because I want to get back at you. That's what Clemson football is doing. Whether that is the persona or not, I truly believe it is. Dominique Lovett transferred from Missouri to Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs can go get anybody they want to. Why would they want Dominique Lovett? Because he's incredible. And all that matters at Georgia, and unfortunately, even to a fault, is winning football games. Now, I'm glad Clemson doesn't have near the trouble that Georgia has. Every program has its problems, okay? Not all of them are squeaky clean. Clemson's not squeaky clean. I can go ahead and promise you that. We know some stuff happened in the offseason last year. But it's definitely not Georgia. But at the same time, when you start having a high amount of kids coming or guys coming in, you're going to have problems here and there. But Dominique Lovett, Georgia wanted him because he was incredible. Why did Florida State get Keon Coleman out of Michigan State? Because they wanted the best player. Why did they go to the University of South Carolina, who's not an amazing football team, and get Jaheim Bell? Because they looked at Jaheim Bell and went, wow, let me tell you this. I told you that guy was impressive. Chicken or not, former chicken or not. I told you, I said, that guy can play football. I was blown away by just how, man, he reminded me of Marshawn Lynch in the sense of just that rugged, like, I mean, it was really aggressive and like, man, I'm a bruiser. I'm going to talk trash to you. I'm going to be rough, rugged. I am going to intimidate you. That is my number one goal. I am going to bruise you, and I'm still going to score a touchdown. That's Jaheim Bell. I saw that in the Clemson-Carolina game last year and walked away going, wow. And when he hit the portal, I went, holy snipe. Florida State got him immediately, and he did amazing the other night. They did it because they saw the talent there. Clemson is stuck in this, we're all holding hands singing Kumbaya. Those days are fine as long as you're still winning. Clemson is not dominant like they used to be. They're not dominant anymore. And if a guy in his bonus room who's never played football can figure that out, so can people who are being paid millions of dollars to coach a game. And by the way, final thought as I'm leaving here, my final thought here, and some of you are glad I'm shutting up, but here we go. What I'm about to mention, it's not going to happen. But you know what I wish would happen? Instead of giving coaches, $10 million contracts, I tell you what I wish they would do. I'd say, hey, here's your base. You're going to get $2 million. You win 10 games, you get 7. You win the conference, you get 8. You win a national championship, you get 10. And you know what you would see? You would see coaches go into the transfer portal, pulling guys whether they wanted them or not. You would see coaches hiring other coaches who would they would hire them based on, hey, you're a good coach, not because we used to go to college together or because I know you. You would see coaches starting players on the field that needs to be started versus starting players on the field just because you knew their family growing up, or because you used to coach with their dad, or because any of those reasons, or because they're alumni and they're a former players. You're not going to see that. You would see these coaches going, I want that $10 million so much, I'll make the right decision. There we go. That's what I would like to see. And you would see a lot of these guys. You would see different players on the field. You would see different coaches on the sidelines. You would see different approaches. That, oh man, that was a strange game tonight. That wouldn't have been Duke. You would have seen that table kicked over. Not that people should be erratic and lose their mind. If that table would have been shaking. No, this ain't going to happen. This way, after that first fumble, butts would have been chewed, heads would have been rolling, and they wouldn't have fumbled that next time, and Clemson won that football game. Folks, I'm going to let you go. Great point right there. Mike 3883. Harbaugh took a pay cut and made the playoffs. From what I can remember, that timeline is correct. Thank you so much, John Thomas. I appreciate it. Folks, you all take care of yourself. Once again, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. The vast majority of you, I've looked at my analytics, says that I have tens of thousands watching overall, and only like 20% of them, if not 15, is subscribe. So please subscribe. It is free. It is free. That's the reason I beat that horse. And hit the thumbs up and the notification bell. Also, if you look on an iPhone, you're not going to see it there. So if you'll go to a laptop or whatever, but if you want to join, it's $3 per month or $5 per month. It's so cheap, you won't even notice it coming out, but I do appreciate the support, folks. That's how you fix Clemson football. And remember, I'm a nobody. So if somebody comes on here and says, well, you're so far in over your head. Well, apparently our Clemson football coaches are in over their head. They're just being compensated for it. Love the guys, but this is getting gold. Folks, you take care of yourself. And as always, go Tigers.